I'm Jason Las Vegas, and these are my 2022 NFL Week 3 teaser picks. In this series, we make a teaser pick. A teaser pick is when you move the line against the spread or the total 6 points in any direction, but you cannot take any money lines. The first game of the week for NFL Week 3 will be the Thursday night game. Pittsburgh Steelers getting 4.5 points on the road against the Cleveland Browns. I'm actually going to skip this game. I believe both teams, neither team probably will make the playoffs. Steelers coming off of a loss, Browns coming off of a loss. Short week, not really worth adding either team in a parlay. The next game, the first game I'm going to bet on will be, I'm going to add 6 points to the Ravens. I think the Ravens win this game outright. So instead of taking -3, I'm going to move that line 6 points in my direction, and I'll take the Ravens plus 3 points. The game against Miami just kind of got away from them. They gave up a lot of late touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I do not believe the New England Patriots have that type of offense to score that many points versus the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is clearly the best player on the field in that game. I will take the Ravens plus 3 points. The next game, this is kind of a tough one. There was, in one parlay, I already took Miami plus 5.5. After Monday night, I'm going to try to jump on a bandwagon. I'm going to take Buffalo Bills from -5.5 to plus half of a point. It would have been better if it was plus a 4 point. I still believe Buffalo Bills will win this game. Miami could still cover. It could be a 3-point game in either direction. So taking the Buffalo Bills from up 5.5 to plus half of a point. Even if they if they lose the game, I would lose that bet, right? Okay, so that's not great. This is kind of a tough one. Yeah, I'm still gonna take Buffalo Bills. I think they probably will win this game. I think Miami could cover, but it is a division game. As long as Buffalo Bills do not lose this game, I will be able to win this bet. The next game, I'm going to add 6 points to the Bengals. I think this is a get-right game. They're only giving 6 points on the road to the Jets. Jets coming off of a very impressive win last week. Bengals coming off of a loss last week. Bengals in week 1, the Bengals are 0-2. Bengals in week 1 played the Steelers defense. Bengals in week 2 played the Cowboys defense. Bengals in week 3 plays the Jets defense. I think this is an easy win for the Bengals. I would take the Bengals -6, but in this parlay, I'm going to take the Bengals from -6 to even. Next game, man, I don't know if Kamara is going to be playing. I'm a little worried about Winston with his turnovers, but I don't really trust the Panthers at all. I believe they're 0-2, right? The Panthers have not won a single game this season. They lost their second week to the Giants. They lost the first week to the Browns. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Saints down from -2.5 to plus, 4.5 or plus 3.5? Terrible with math. Either way, I'm going to take the Saints basically plus over a field goal on the road. So even if the Saints lose by 3 points, we'll still win this bet. I think that's a good bet. That seems like a good bet. If Kamara plays this game, -2.5 seems like an easy bet for the Saints. If Kamara does not play this game, I'm a little worried. The Saints coming off of a kind of a tough physical loss to the Buccaneers. What's their mindset like? The Panthers coming back home, trying to get their first win of the season. Who's more hungrier after a week 2 loss is basically going to come down to it. Next game will be the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. Wow, this is. I never thought I would say this, but the Vikings offense looked terrible on Monday night. I don't know if that was a primetime Kirk Cousins curse or what's going on there, but the Lions have won their first game of the season. They defeated the Washington football team last week. They lost the first game of the season. They played the Eagles, and then they won last week versus the Washington football team. Lions have scored 35 points in the first week, 36 points in their second week. This offense is pretty good. Can it keep up with the Vikings offense? Vikings at home, they looked really good versus the Packers. I'm gonna take the Vikings down from -6 to even. I don't feel like this is an even game. Vikings coming off of a pretty bad loss to the Eagles at home. Both teams are known for playing in domes, so it's no. I just think the Vikings should probably win this game. Lions coming off a very impressive win last week. I think they're going to still be on the high of defeating the Washington football team. But this Vikings team seems like a team that's going to make the playoffs. So if they do, I don't expect them losing this game at home to the Detroit Lions. So I'll take that from -6 to a pick'em game. Next game, I'm going to easily take the Kansas City Chiefs -5.5 to what is it, plus half of a point, right? It would be plus half of a point. The Indianapolis Colts, they're 0-1-1. Last week they played the Jaguars. They did not score a single point. Kansas City played the Thursday night game, so they've had a significant amount of time off to recover. They're 2-0 this season. They covered versus the Cardinals in week 1, but they did not cover in week 2 versus the Chargers. That was a division game. I don't think the Indianapolis Colts, it's obvious Indianapolis Colts does not have the offense to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs. So taking the Chiefs, I would take the Chiefs -5.5. Taking them down from -5.5 to plus a point seemed like one of the easiest bets in the world. Next game, the Tennessee Titans. I don't know what's going on with that offense. They look terrible. I think the Raiders, they just ran into the Murray train versus the Cardinals. Cardinals, they are a pretty good early round team. I mean, imagine when they have Hopkins back. That's going to be a big deal for the Cardinals. But the Raiders lost their first, they're 0-2, right? I believe the Raiders haven't won a single game this season. So coming off a pretty tough loss, both teams coming off of a pretty tough loss. The Titans are 0-2. The Raiders are 0-2. Titans lost their first game versus the Giants at home, where Saquon Barkley ran all over them. And the Raiders, I feel like they should win this game, right? They should win this game. The Tennessee Titans, that offense lost a lot of wide receivers from last season, and it seems like the Raiders offense got way better. I think coming off of that kind of loss to the Cardinals last week, the Raiders should be able to come back and win this game. I'll take the Raiders from -2.5 to what is it, +4.5 or +3? Either way, we're going to take the Raiders. Next game, we're going to easily take the Philadelphia Eagles down from 6.5 to +0.5 or to -0.5 of a point. I think the Eagles win this game outright. Either way, I'm not too crazy about the Washington football team offense. They won their first week versus the Jaguars. Nice win for them. But then they lost last week versus the Detroit Lions. They gave up 36 points on offense. I think this Philadelphia Eagles, not only did I think it, but the Eagles did defeat the Lions. They scored 38 points in that game. With this being a division game, it usually it's going to be a lot closer probably than a touchdown. So with the Eagles playing semi on the road, I think most of the fans in that game will most likely be Eagles fans. I think the Eagles will win this game, so I'll take them from -6.5 to -0.5 of a point. Next game, I'm going to skip. I'm not going to put the Houston Texans, even though Houston Texans have covered in both of their games of this season. The first week, they were -8.5 or -7 to the Indianapolis Colts. They tied that game. And then last week, they were underdogs to the Denver Broncos. That line was like -10, and they lost the game by, I think, only 7 points. The Bears, kind of untrustworthy here. They won their first week, their week 1 game versus the Trey Lance led San Francisco 49ers, but then they returned to form versus the Packers last week. Was that a Thursday? Was that a Monday night game? I can't remember. I think it was a Sunday night game. Yeah, it was a Sunday night game. Bears coming home. I'm just gonna skip it. I think the Bears probably do win this game. Bears are 1-1 on the season. Houston are 0-1 on the season. I don't trust the Bears enough to. I should probably tease the Bears, right? Because if I tease the Bears, then I would put the Bears in this game at plus 3 points. Can the Bears lose to the Texans at home? How bad would that be? You know what? I'll trust them. I'll trust them enough. You know, it's 3 points for a home team. Even if they do lose this game, I think the Bears probably lose by 1 point. Even if they do lose by a field goal, that's kind of a push. So I'll take the Bears at home -3 down to +3. I convinced myself. Next game, haven't really heard a great update on Justin Herbert injury. He got injured versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the Thursday night game. So that was a while ago, almost 10 days ago before this game. The line has not moved in any indication that Justin Herbert is not playing in this game, because if he wasn't, you would imagine this line would be a lot closer. The Jaguars coming off of a pretty impressive win last week over the Indianapolis Colts, where the Colts did not score a single point. Jaguars did not cover their week 1 loss to the Washington football team, so this team can get blown out, right? I think coming off of a win like that, I still don't know what's going on with Herbert. I don't know what's happening with Allen. I'm just going to jump out the window. I'm going to add 6 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars. If Herbert plays and Allen plays, they could easily lose this game by 14 to 21 points. But if Herbert is as beat up as I think he still is and Allen doesn't play, I think adding 6 points to the Jaguars, taking this line up to 13 points, seems like a fairly good bet. Next game, I think I'm going to skip this game also. It's the Buccaneers. I took the Buccaneers when this line originally came out. I took the Buccaneers at -3 because I thought Evans was going to be playing and Julio Jones was going to come back. But Evans got suspended from one game. Even though he got kicked out of the last game, they still suspended him for the next game. And I don't know what's going on with Julio Jones, so I'm going to have to skip this game. I don't trust. I mean, the Buccaneers looked pretty good last week. They finally beat the Saints on the road. They covered in that game. They won that game by 20 points or something like that. They really, really handled the New Orleans Saints. And the Packers coming off a win over the Bears. Still not impressed with the Packers. They lost their week 1 versus the Vikings. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a better offense than the Packers, and I really do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. I'm super worried about that offense. I don't know who on that offense is going to really step up for an entire game versus the Packers. I would favor putting 6 points on the Buccaneers and taking the Buccaneers at +5 over taking a Packers at +7, right? Because the Packers could lose this game by easily 10 to 14 points. You know what? We want to have some fun with this parlay, so we're going to add the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from -1 to +5. We'll just take a chance on that one. Next game, I don't distrust this one enough. I like the Atlanta Falcons a little bit more than people want to give credit to them for. They covered in both games of this season. They're 0-2 straight up, so they have not won a single game. They lost versus the Saints, but they covered. That line was -5. They lost by 1, and then they lost to the Rams last weekend. They were plus 10.5, and they basically backdoor covered that game. The Seattle Seahawks coming off of a loss to the San Francisco 49ers. That offense looked terrible. I don't think the Falcons win this game. I think they can keep it close. Even if they do lose this game, it probably will be by 3 or 4 points. So I'll take the Falcons up from +1 to +7. When this line originally came out, I think it was the Falcons like +2 or +3. I think it was maybe like +2. I'm just a little bit surprised to see a road team getting only +1 on the road, right? Normal home teams get at least 3 points at home. So for some reason, Seattle is not even getting 3 points at home. This line seems like a lot of people are betting on the Falcons to win outright. So I'll add the Falcons up to +7. Next game, I'm going to easily add the Arizona Cardinals from +3.5 to +9.5. Rams lost their week 1 game versus the Buffalo Bills. Rams won their week 2 game versus the Atlanta Falcons, but they did not cover in that game. Cardinals lost their week 1 game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think they covered. Did they cover? No, I don't think they covered in that game. And they won their week 2 game versus the Las Vegas Raiders. That was an amazing comeback by the Cardinals. With this being a division game and with that Rams offense looking as terrible as it does, I think adding 6 points to a 3.5 favorite at home and for a division game seems like easy money. So I'm going to add the Cardinals up from 3.5 to +9.5. Next game, when this line originally came out, I had the 49ers. I think they were getting +1 point, Yeah, they were getting +1 point, which I did not understand. Maybe the news came out late that Trey Lance was going to be injured, but I could not understand why people would not think the 49ers were not going to beat the Denver Broncos at home. I'm a little bit surprised it's only 1.5. Denver Broncos have not looked good at all this season. They lost their first week 1 game versus the Seattle Seahawks. You could kind of understand the emotion in the game. But last week they played the Houston Texans. They were favored by 10. They only scored 16 points in the game, and the Texans scored 9 points in the game. So this offense is still trying to work the kinks out. I think the San Francisco 49ers are built. They seem really focused. Jimmy G is back as the quarterback, taking the San Francisco 49ers from -1.5 to what's +6 points? Is that 3.5 or 4.5? I have no idea. I'm just going to take the San Francisco 49ers. Going to add 6 points to +1.5. Completely terrible with math, especially when it goes under 0. Like, does 0 count as a number, or do we skip it? Anyway, the last bet I'm going to easily, I think we could take 15 bets on a parlay, hopefully. If not, we got to lose 3 bets. But I'll easily take the Dallas Cowboys from +1 to +7. The New York Giants have a really, really, really good running game, but this Cowboys defense is almost underrated. They will stop you. They're a really, really tough team to play against. And think of the teams they played against the first 2 weeks. Cowboys' first week was against Tom Brady and the Bucs, and I think they only gave up like 212 passing yards. And then the second week, they sacked Joe Burrow like 6 times, right? So this is a really, really tough defense. New York Giants are surprisingly 2-0 this season, right? They had a week 1 win over the terrible Tennessee Titans. So Giants at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. Even though Dak Prescott is not playing in this game, I'm going to take the Cowboys from +1 to +7. Add 6 points to that line. I think the Cowboys, it's a division game. Cowboys could win this game outright, which is why you see that they're only giving 1 point. Giants normally should be getting 3 points at home for a division game, but a lot of people clearly seem to be betting on the Cowboys to win this game outright. So we'll take 15 teams. Let's see if we can do a teaser that big. I don't even know if you can. Yes, we can. Okay, so we can do a 15-team teaser. So we added 6 points to all of these lines. We're going to take the Baltimore Ravens +3 points against the spread. The Buffalo Bills plus half of a point against the spread. The Bengals even, basically on a money line. The Saints +3.5 against the spread. The Minnesota Vikings on a money line against the spread. Kansas City Chiefs plus half of a point against the spread. The Las Vegas Raiders plus 3.5 against the spread. The Philadelphia Eagles minus half of a point against the spread. The Chicago Bears plus 3 points against the spread. The Jacksonville Jaguars plus 13 points against the spread. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 5 points against the spread. Atlanta Falcons plus 7 points against the spread. Arizona Cardinals plus 9.5 points against the spread. And San Francisco 49ers plus 4.5 points against the spread. And the Dallas Cowboys plus 7 points against the spread. Where it's $3 to win $450. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my NFL Week 3 teaser picks, 15-team teaser. We're going to take the Baltimore Ravens plus 3 at New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills plus half of a point at Miami Dolphins, the Bengals basically against the spread, but on a money line against the Jets, so that's a money line bet. The New Orleans Saints plus 3.5 against the Panthers. Minnesota Vikings on a money line against the spread versus the Detroit Lions. The Kansas City Chiefs plus half of a point at Indianapolis. Las Vegas Raiders plus 3.5 at Tennessee Titans. The Philadelphia Eagles minus half of a point at Washington Football Team. The Chicago Bears plus 3 points versus Houston Texans. Jacksonville Jaguars plus 13 points at the Los Angeles Chargers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 5 points versus the Green Bay Packers. Atlanta Falcons plus 7 points at the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona Cardinals plus 9.5 points versus Los Angeles Rams. San Francisco 49ers plus 4.5 points at Denver Broncos. And the Dallas Cowboys Monday night game plus 7 points at the New York Giants. Will I go 15-0 or will I go 0-15? Let me know who are some of your favorite teaser picks this week. Which lines would you like to throw 6 points behind? That's what a teaser pick is. You could tease a team down to a money line, as you can see with the Bengals are teased down to basically a pick'em game, and the Minnesota Vikings you could tease down to a money line bet. But teasers are only against the spread, so you could take the line 6 points in any direction. You can also do a 2-team teaser. You can do a one, but you can't do a 1-team teaser unless you do against the spread and against the over and under. I am Jason Las Vegas. These are my 2023 NFL Week 3 picks. We have a Week 3 teaser picks, 15-team teaser pick, risking $3 to win $450. Thank you for watching.